Hola, buen dia. It is 7 a.m. in La Paz, Bolivia. I've just come off an overnight bus from Cochabamba, which is why I look quite tired. I arrived at around 4:50 a.m, dropped off my bags in the hostel at around 6 a.m, and I've left my hostel now at 7 a.m. to walk to the cemetery to get a bus to Tiwanaku and Puma Punku. I'm going to show you how to do it on a budget. It's about a 35-minute walk, what turns out to be uphill from my hostel at around 3,700 meters altitude. All the markets are starting to get set up in the background, and like I said earlier, I'm walking to the cemetery because at the cemetery there are supposed to be minibuses, colectivos. They cost no more than the equivalent of $3 to go to Tiwanaku. So this is the cemetery here behind me now. I'm going to look around and see if I can see a bus that says Tiwanaku on a piece of cardboard. Lots of street sellers on this side of the road. This is the main entrance to the cemetery. Look at this lovely view of Bolivia here, and the cable cars as well. So I found a building that says Tiwanaku and Copacabana. This bus is going to the Copacabana. I've got a feeling that this is the right place to wait for a Tiwanaku bus. Maybe because it's a Sunday, they're not as frequent. I'm going to have a walk around, see if I can find anywhere else. Hay buses a Tiwanaku. ¿Atrás? ¿En esta calle? Izquierda. Gracias. So I just asked a guy who's selling tickets for the Copacabana, and he said to come on this street. There is a Tiwanaku sign here, another one, but the door's locked and there's no buses here either. Quiero ir a Tiwanaku. ¿Dónde te puedes parar?
Yo te digo más, te conviene, amigo, irte terminal del Alto, interprovincial.
No es por aquí.
Aquí tiene su parada ahí, es allá siempre el cerro van en Tiwanaku, pero no llega. Si quieres más rápido,
Sí.
en terminal interprovincial hay bastante, cada 15 o 10 minutos.
Bueno, gracias.
Hasta terminal te lleva aquí el bus, le das 5 bolivianos, más o menos directo te lleva.
Sí.
De aquí subes, directo te lleva hasta el terminal, le dices al caballero 5 bolivianos, me ha dicho el señor, y le pagas 5 bolivianos.
Sí.
Ahí le dices, los amigos, ¿dónde sale Tiwanaku? Ahí gritan a todos, los Tiwanaku, Desaguadero, Copacabana,
Sí,
Hay
sí.
bastante trufis.
Bueno.
Algo más fácil.
Pero tal vez acá también, o...
Hoy día es domingo, casi no va.
No, domingo no, bueno.
Sí, porque no hay muchos pasajeros aquí, entonces no...
Entiendo. Sí. Gracias.
Desaguadero, pasa Desaguadero, ya salimos.
¿A Tiwanaku?
Sí.
Sí, Tiwanaku. Sí. Bueno, ¿cuánto cuesta? ¿20 o...? Sí, bueno. ¿Pero entrar?
Pasa nomás,
Sí. I had to shout at the bus driver to stop, otherwise he would have carried on going to Desaguadero, which is the place that I was getting the bus towards, and I'm going to add the map because there weren't buses direct to Tiwanaku, so I've got to walk around half an hour into the pueblo or village to look at the ancient ruins. But I'm going to put a map of if there are no direct buses to Tiwanaku, where you can get the bus to Desaguadero, which is a border town near Peru, which is where the rest of the people are going. But you can just ask the bus driver to get off here, and I paid 20 Bolivianos, which is around £2 British, $2. So let's go and walk towards Puma Punku. Looks like it's easier said than done to walk there because there's some private houses. I think I got off the bus a bit late. I'm hoping there's a path here. It took me through some long reeds. It's actually quite wet here. You can see my shoes very wet. Brilliant, that's going to be comfortable to walk around in. I think I'm on the main road to Tiwanaku now. Not very busy at all. I think most of the tour groups that come from La Paz, which is the main form of transport for those with more wonga than me, they come at around 10, 11 o'clock. It's just gone 9 o'clock. The bus journey took around an hour and a half. And there's some llamas here. Llamas. According to my map, it is around a 30-minute walk to the ticket office. Puma Punku is here behind me through this gate. Now it's very quiet here. It's making me wonder if it is open on a Sunday. On the website it said it was, so fingers crossed. The gate is open. I haven't bought a ticket yet. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to buy it here or there is another ticket office in town, so I'm going to go and ask. Hola, ¿debo comprar boleto acá o en otro lugar? ¿En esta calle? Sí. Izquierda. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos. Alright, so he's sent me down this street and to the left. I'm not sure what he was eating at the time. I don't know if I caught it on camera. So around half an hour walk later, I've arrived in the centre of Tiwanaku. Just outside the ticket office here, there's already some free stones to look at. you probably are going to have to pay the £10 to get a decent view of the history here, but this area is free. And here is some other kind of painting on a mural, Tiwanaku. ¿Puedo comprar boleto acá? O... frente. Acá. Bueno, gracias. So it turns out this is the ticket office, not this place. Maybe this is the museum. There's 2 railway tracks here, and I didn't realise, but I think it's actually at a higher elevation than La Paz, 3,870 meters above sea level. Hola, un boleto, porfa. Gracias. ¿Es todos? ¿Es mi boleto? ¿Ese? Y estamos...
En boletería estamos ahorita. Aquí.
acá. Y con boleto puedo entrar todos.
Sí,
Ah,
todos
bueno.
estos lugares. 2 museos.
1, 2, 3.
El área uno comprende hasta el 8.
Sí, sí.
Está al lado. Buenos Aires. Y Puma Punku.
Puma Punku, sí. Y puedo preguntar si yo puedo regresar a La Paz, ¿dónde hay autobuses o colectivos?
Sí, hay parada de buses. Aquí también.
¿En centro o...?
No, aquí está parada de
Ah,
buses.
parada de buses.
Es directo de esta avenida hasta el fondo.
Bueno,
Sí.
muchas gracias. Buen día. So I'm inside the museum now. This is what the ticket looks like. Quite a nice ticket, slightly plasticky. There's lots of information on the walls here. So I think what I'm going to do is take a picture and add it to the video. And of course you can skip the pictures if you want with the information on. But a couple of things I'd like to show. This is quite interesting. It's got the old ancient grains of Tiwanaku. It's got quinoa, tawari blau. And this looks like some sort of ginger here. And this is called tunta. Now, I'm not sure what tunta is, but next to it is chunyo. And chunyo is it's like a dried potato at altitude, I think.
Et depuis 200 mètres jusqu'à 5000 mètres. Dans tous les étages, parce que la Bolivie, normalement, elle a les 12 étages du monde. En 1840, il y a un Français qui est arrivé pour étudier toute l'Amérique du Sud. Et il a écrit comme ça. Alors, vous savez ce qu'il dit pour commencer le premier des bouquins? Il dit comme ça. Si Dieu devait détruire l'œuvre de sa création, c'est-à-dire la terre, ainsi surpris. Mais néanmoins, il faudrait qu'il conserve la Bolivie.
I feel like I've just seen two of me after my overnight bus journey because I come across this. Don't look too dissimilar at the moment, don't feel too dissimilar either. That was the ceramic museum that I just frequented. Now I'm going to Museo Litico. Oh, there's a dog here. After that museum, according to my ticket, we've only got the exciting stuff left. Because there's two museums, and the rest is over there, by those hills, with artifacts, and on the other side, where Puma Punku is, which I've already passed. So I'm at the entrance of Museo Litico now, and apparently there's no pictures allowed once I enter past that entrance, but there is in this area, so I'm only allowed to enter once as well. They've got it hole punched on Museo Litico. I've just left Museo Litico. The weight of my rucksack is so heavy. I'm now going to be heading into the main archaeological area, but not Puma Punku, that will be the last stop. But there's around 7 artifacts inside, through here somewhere. What was inside Museo Litico? Hola? No, gracias. No, está bien. No, gracias. No, está bien, gracias. Got a bit caught off guard there by a street seller of little souvenirs. 3 for £10 he offered me in the end. No thanks. Yeah, so there were lots of llama history in there. There were massive sculptures. I mean, the biggest one that you might have seen if I captured it on camera was bigger than a lot of the Easter Island statues when I was in Easter Island. And there was a room of loads of different sculptures, and apparently some of the sculptures, they're holding tablets which contained hallucinogens back in the day. And yes, I'm not sure what the history of the pumas were, and that section was only in Spanish. But that massive statue that you saw when I first walked in is called Bennett, which is the person who discovered it, I think, or Pachamama, which means Mother Earth. There seems to be some sort of stalls over here, but I presume because it's a Sunday they're closed. And now I'm going to be going in here. Looks like these ruins where I'm entering now date back to 300 AD. And I'm now at the, I think this is called Akapana Pyramid. I'm going to turn my phone around to try and get a better view. So the Akapana Pyramid was composed of 7 platforms, as you can see in front here. The wall of the first platform is covered with finely carved pilasters and has its main access to the west, where a Chachapuma was recovered. Now, I was mentioning when I was in the Lithic Museum about the pumas, so that's what I mean by that. It's almost like a small sculpture that looks like a puma, basically. The pyramid has a 194 by 194 meter quadrangular floor, and it's 15 meters 70 centimeters high. It was intensively used in the late Tiwanaku IV period and gradually abandoned. So apparently the summit of this pyramid is the only place to see a snow-capped Yimani and Lake Titicaca, both sacred geographical features of Tiwanaku. It houses double-walled enclosures made with small sandstone blocks arranged around an enamelled yard. The central part shows the massive destruction by treasure hunters since colonial times. Now, I think I can walk up there based on this path, so let's go and have a look. I'm now walking up the stairs of this sacred pyramid, and you can see the levels behind me here. It's quite steep. Nice mountainous views as well. And at the moment, I should say, it's only me here in basically this whole area. Maybe it's because the tour groups arrive a bit later in the day. So at the top of the steps, there's an arrow telling me to go that way. And so from up here, you can see the areas of archaeological ruins, like a square there and another sector there. Massive area here, so I'm walking through there next, but I'll go all the way down and around, past there, up there, and then through the exit. And this isn't even Puma Punku. Puma Punku's on the other side of these buildings. Beautiful scenery here, and there's a little drop down there, and you can see these sharply crafted sculptures here all in a row. Just where I was pointing, where there was a sort of crevice, seems to be some sort of aqueduct here that they've built. In this area, the structural system of the construction of the platforms can be appreciated, which consists of 3 basic strategies. The first one is formed by the supporting wall, the cells, and the structural filler. The second one corresponds to the inner filler, which is distributed in layers that vary between 0.2 to 0.3 meters. Finally, the third one shows the architectural wall composed by 4 rows of ashlars, joined with a clamping system with the pilasters that are distributed in the wall. Located in the upper part is a row of ashlars functioning as a cornice. Someone walking up there as well.
Los antiguos
Sí.
tiahuanacos
Sí.
formaron acá la ciudad,
Sí.
su ciudad. Abandonaron, fueron a Puno,
Sí.
probablemente.
Mm-hmm.
Luego abandonaron Puno y llegaron hasta Cusco.
Mm-hmm.
Y en Cusco formaron ya capital, se entraron y
Sí.
se expandieron.
Sí.
Se expandieron.
Ah, entiendo, sí.
Algo así, es lo que yo he estado viendo, de lo que he ido viajando.
Hola! We've come down into the place where the picture was taken previously, and you can see these faces carved into the wall. Very clearly decorated as well. There are loads of heads all around this semi-subterranean temple, that's what it's called. All around. I've been joined by someone from Peru, Mitch is his name. Just found these small aqueducts inside this wall. There is no sign saying don't touch on this. These are the piedras canceras,
También puede ingresar
tired
para no pagar.
rocks.
Ah, no. Ah, ok. Ah, ahí está.
Sí, ya está.
Around Viracocha there are 40 figures. The 40 figures. 4 weeks are missing. Tiwanaku's had 4 weeks for celebrating the fourth festival of the sun. The fourth season. The spring, summer, autumn, winter. He needs to put offerings. It is in the original location, no, in the past was in the middle there. In the side that you see the edge of the sun, it is the original side. It is moved there. Then you see 3 gates more in Puma Punku. And you can see the calendar, no? The 14 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 months. Each month with 28 days. 28 per 14, 364. 1 day is missing. The first day was the festival of the sun. It's Viracocha. This is nearly an overtillable heaven, earth, the world below. And the mix for offerings, and the bottom was the metallic doors for keeping jewelry.
Left the archaeological ruins now, and my friend has gone into the museums. As I've already been in there, I'm going to Puma Punku now. And there's 2 sheep here. There's a llama here. Some sheep as well. Hola. ¿Qué tal? Hola.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, ven. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Perfecto, gracias. ¿Solo por acá? ¿Camino? Sí. Un poco así. Bueno, gracias. I'm now all by myself, actually, luckily, in Puma Punku. You can see some of the stones behind me, and this is known as one of the most mythical places on Earth because of the precise cutting of the stones and the potential civilization that has disappeared without a trace who created these. So, Puma Punku. In Aymara, the name means the Puma's Door. It was the most luxurious building in Tiwanaku. See it behind me there, the enormous proportions of the structures, the fine details of the platforms, of the facades, some explosions in the background there, not sure if you heard that, and the lintels stand out. The sophisticated technology of the masonry, as well as the indigenous drainage system, are also emphasized. It is a pyramidal structure consisting of carved ashlars with 3 platforms of quadrangular floors. Only 2 are visible nowadays, with 2 wings extending from north to south. Colour pigmentation has been found on the floors, and some walls red, blue, green and white colours. The summit contains a semi-underground shrine. It measures 210 metres from north to south, 132 metres from east to west, and approximately 5 metres tall. Previous research established that this pyramid was built between 600 and 800 AD. Tiwanaku Late Period number 5. Here I am at the Puma Punku ruins, dating back almost 14,000 years old, making it one of the most baffling places on the entire planet. And you can look at the advanced precision cut of the stones. Was it extraterrestrials? Just taking a look up close at some of the fine cutting here. And behind me are the H blocks, although I'm on the wrong side of them. They look more like the letter H from the other side. So here you can see the historic ruins and the H blocks. There. One of the many strange features about Puma Punku is the incredible cutting technology like this. And like this. Look how straight that is, 90 degrees, with the flush edges. And there is the kind man working here. And how about this? Drill holes through that stone on the right. And modern engineers have compared the works here to modern laser technology. So how was it possible back in the day? What makes things more interesting here is there are no trees in this area. We are 3,850 metres above sea level. So that means they couldn't have used wooden rollers to create what they've created here. One of the most interesting artefacts of Puma Punku are the interlocking H blocks that I previously mentioned. And if you take a look at this, they're perfectly interlocked and perfectly cut with the edges as well. The symmetry and consistency of these blocks should not have been possible for an ancient civilization, and there's also never been any findings of chisels or other tools or machinery to create these. And you've got to take into account as well how heavy these things weigh. Tons. There's 4H blocks up close here, and interestingly in the middle of this one you can see there's even a perfectly created indent in the middle there. Now, archaeologists attribute these ruins to the Tiwanaku people who lived between 500 and 1000. However, there's a couple of problems with that. There are no written records at all to describe that situation. Number two, the technological element that I mentioned earlier, there's never been any tools found in this area to create what is all around me at the moment. And I suppose a third reason that archaeologists are unsure is because there may have been settlements predating the Tiwanaku civilizations here during those dates that I mentioned. Because of those three mysteries, there's been quite a few alternative theories about Puma Punku. One ideology is that there is a lost technology and that there were ancient civilizations that knew how to cut stones precisely and transport them as well, speculating that builders knew techniques for softening stone to make it easier to carve. Others believe that maybe with this advanced technology they used geopolymer concrete and poured liquid into the stones to give it the fine, sharp edges. If that first thought is true, then it potentially gives way to the idea that ancient civilizations existed in South America long before we currently know. A beautiful canal system here. Another theory is a pre-Ice Age civilization, which dates back around 12 to 14,000 years. Now, if those dates are correct, that's almost 10 times as historical as what is currently thought to be this area of Puma Punku, just walking around the fields at the moment. And the reason some people believe that is because they connect Puma Punku to the ancient city of Atlantis, which was wiped out all that time ago. And the myths of those ancient floods connects to even the Bible, the Incas and the Mayans, and it would mean that we don't have any current knowledge about the true history of this area because it dates back so long ago. If Puma Punku does predate human recorded history, then it means the history books will have to be rewritten, and there's not much we can know about it because it's past from what we know now. But another theory is the ancient alien theory. Wow, let's get into this. So, the ancient alien theory was popularized by Erich von Däniken. You may have seen him on Ancient Aliens. Here behind me is the pyramid of Puma Punku, and the reason the ancient alien theory came to light is similar to the other reasons. There's a lack of evidence of tools used to create this, and lack of evidence of the civilization that used to create Puma Punku. But another reason is those heads that I showed earlier in that square subterranean temple, they represent aliens, and then there are other forms of alien sort of sculptures around this area that gives the link that extraterrestrials visited this area. Now, lots of archaeologists don't agree with this theory. However, the fact that there isn't definitive proof of what created this and the precisely cut stones behind it keeps the debate alive. From the Puma Punku pyramid, we're going to feel some of the energy. Just checking no one's looking to see whether I'm allowed to touch. There's another small drainage system here, and Puma Punku sort of sits atop a small mount, and around the outside they've got almost like a sort of canal. You can just see around the outsides there. So I'm just crossing this area now, but I noticed this engraving on this rock. Quite interesting. So apparently this area on the north side was the cultural occupation when the Incas took over the area of Puma Punku, and they made it more suitable for their rituals and ceremonies. And there were tombs found in this area which related to the Inca civilization era between around 1470 and 1540 AD. There's some bulls on the outskirts of Puma Punku. So I'm going to be leaving Puma Punku now. Just a couple more shots of the fine cuttery, for want of a better word. And it's quite a nice view from just over here, actually looking through the gap, and you can see the stone H's there. Now it's going to be the interesting part, trying to find a bus back to La Paz. Sí, La Paz. ¿Despacio? No, gracias. Gracias. So it's not as easy as I thought coming back. Even though my bus had La Paz on it, I got dropped off in El Alto, which is around 3 hours walk from my accommodation. I walked to a bus terminal in El Alto, but I think it was only going out of the city. So now I may be getting this form of transport back to my accommodation. Yeah, the cable car. Just trying to figure out how it works. No tengo una tarjeta, no sé cómo funciona. Primera vez.
¿Dónde quieres ir?
¿Perdona?
¿Dónde quieres ir?
¿A dónde quiero ir? Cerca del cementerio o terminal de buses.
5 bolivianos, azul y rojo.
¿Cuántos? 5 bolivianos? Bueno,
5 bolivianos, 2 líneas, azul y rojo.
dos líneas. Bueno, no sé, primera vez, no sé dónde.
Ya,
Quiero
acá.
ir a cerca del cementerio o...
La roja vamos a tomar, línea roja.
Línea roja.
La roja.
¿Y necesito cambiar?
No,
O-
con este boleto
¿Sí?
va a llegar ya, hasta
Sí.
el último, va a marcar la
Hasta
roja.
el último,
Pero
sí.
tiene que ir, después va a subir,
bueno.
va a pasar una estación, la segunda estación,
Sí,
la tercera
la
se va a quedar,
tercera.
se queda al final. 16 de julio, va a preguntar, 16 de julio,
Sí, sí.
y ahí se queda, y luego le preguntamos la línea roja, y con ese mismo va a tomar la línea roja.
Perfecto.
Ya.
Gracias por la
Bien,
ayuda.
ya,
Gracias. Okay, so here is my ticket, and it's the first time getting the cable car in La Paz. That was a bit confusing, so I think I need to go this way and get off at the third stop. Let's find out if that is the correct thing to do. Off the first cable car, and I think I need to go to the central station. That's pretty close to my destination, so I'm not sure if my ticket is worth 2 journeys. So even though this sign here said red route, which is the one I need, I went in there and everything was closed, so that's why I asked that woman, and she told me to go downstairs. So let's have a look. Very busy at this station.
No quiero chocar con la iglesia.
And just like that, I am back at the central station. The red line will take you back to Estación Central. My ticket was worth 2 journeys. I was charged 50 pence or 5 bolivianos because you have to pay 3 bolivianos for a one-way journey and 2 for an adjoining one. That's why I was charged 5, and there's some, I'm not sure what that is, stuff there. And I'm basically back at my hostel now. It's about a 15-minute walk, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I only spent, about £3.20 in British, no more than $4 American on the transport there, £10 to enter into Tiwanaku, so a total spend of £14. Look how busy it is here on this roundabout. I'm a bit nearer my hostel. I just thought I'd show you this busy roundabout near it. I feel like my shoulders are about to fall off, my feet are about to break, and my eyes are about to stay shut. I'm struggling to stay awake while I'm walking. I've just walked past this music. The whole street has been taken up by this. I'll put the separate video in, maybe in a separate video or maybe at the end of this video. Taking up the whole of this street. probably about 1,000 meters, this street.